Now, the Indian Navy has made a pretty significant move by docking 3 of its training warships in Iran's Bandar Abbas port. The deployment of the 3 Indian naval ships, namely Shardul, Tir and Veera, is part of a long-range mission in the Persian Gulf. Now, this strategic naval exercise has come at a very crucial time, as Israel has now signalled its intent to stage a military attack against Iran in response to Tuesday's ballistic missile attack. The analysts are highlighting it as India's balancing act. Soon after Iran fired about 180 ballistic missiles at Israel, the Indian Prime Minister dialed his Israeli counterpart Netanyahu, urging for restraint. He also stressed on a diplomatic solution to the conflict. India supports Israel's fight against terror, but it also has a strong relationship with Iran. Now, India's strategic interests in the Persian Gulf go well beyond that of defense cooperation. Almost 55% of India's energy needs are met by imports from the Persian Gulf, and this is going to be an interesting balancing act for India. All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what, of course, is expected to happen, we're being joined by our guest, Ambassador Anil Trigunath, former Indian diplomat and distinguished fellow. He's also served as Director General and Joint Secretary for the Gulf and Hajj divisions in the Ministry of External Affairs. Ambassador Trigunath is, of course, joining us live on this broadcast. Ambassador, let me in fact start off by asking you this. Now, this moment, this is going to be very important for India to look after its own interests, considering that India gets 55% of its energy requirements from the Gulf nations. What do you think will be India's strategy here?
Well, I think that it is clear that the whole of Middle East, especially West Asia and the Gulf region, is our extended neighborhood. Our relationship has moved into a higher strategic partnership and comprehensive strategic partnership with most of these countries. India has also followed a policy of de-hyphenation. That means our relationship with a country will not be impinging on the other. That's precisely the reason that we have a strategic partnership with Israel as well as with Iran. And both are very important for us. And we continue. Likewise, the other Arab countries, the Gulf countries, with whom we have upgraded our ties to strategic partnership level. It is a very important region for India in many ways. So number one, we have the economy that you have mentioned, the energy security. 55 to 60% of our oil and gas comes from there, and then maritime lanes, which have been very important from our point of view. And above all, the most important thing is 9.5 million Indians who are there. So in case the war escalates into the region, that will be our biggest challenge, exactly how to secure the welfare of our people. So that is one. That's why precisely Prime Minister Modi from the very beginning has been saying that there should be a dialogue, diplomacy and the peace, basically, and there should be a two-state solution. Unfortunately, that has not been heard by either of the sides, and they have continued to escalate. And today we are in a position where we seem to have reached the last ladder. And if they cross that threshold, then we are in for a very big conflagration in the region. And that will be disastrous, much more disastrous than the Russia-Ukraine war for the whole world. And therefore, because both sides, none of them is blinking. At the moment, we know that Iranian proxies are weaker because Israel decapitated most of the political and military leadership of Hezbollah. And Hamas, they think that they have overcome, but there is still a long way to go. Houthis are also acting errant. We know that the Kataib Hezbollah, the Islamic militias from Iraq are also attacking. So Israel is fighting on many fronts. It's not giving up. It has complete support of the US and many Western countries. But most of the countries in the world do not want to see the escalation. Absolutely. Iran believes that it has the threshold was crossed, and therefore it had to react and retaliate, in order to convey a message that Iran is not a paper tiger, and second, to tell its own people who were beginning to feel disgruntled by lack of response on the part of Iranian regime, that it will react, and it will continue to react in support of the people who depend on them. And Absolutely. These proxies are very important for Iran's asymmetric advantage.
Absolutely. And also considering the manner in which India in the last week has gone ahead and reacted to this, where in the immediate aftermath of the missile attacks on Israel, the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke with his Israeli counterpart and reiterated that India is, of course, opposed to terror in all of its forms. But at the same time, what is interesting is that considering that there was an expected retaliatory attack from the State of Israel, India has gone ahead with its naval exercises with Iran, and 3 of India's warships at this moment have been stationed in Bandar Abbas in Iran. Do you think there is a role that India can play here in bringing down the temperature in West Asia?
Well, I think that in my view, personally, Prime Minister Modi has been talking, and Dr. Jaishankar has been speaking to all the leaders in the region as well as globally. And this was also discussed during the Quad Summit. And Prime Minister Modi urged Prime Minister Netanyahu to not escalate beyond a point. And I'm sure that, but the thing is, the Israelis are not going to take rest. They are going to react. Now it will be what kind of a reaction there will be, how much it will be. I mean, if it is the same as April 14th, where there is basically a face saving that was permitted, then we might still continue to move. But at the same time, Israel's biggest priority today is to somehow decimate Hezbollah and secure the border up to the blue line of the Litani River, which says so that they can have a buffer zone there and their own people can return to northern Israel. When that is their immediate priority, and thereafter only, I believe that Israel will talk of some kind of a ceasefire.
All right. All right. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Ambassador, for joining us and getting us that perspective there.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.